Honey, pour the wine. Pour it all the way to the rim because you are not going to believe the absolute filth I am about to spill today. We are talking about the kind of betrayal that makes you want to throw your phone across the room, scream into a pillow, and then call a lawyer so ruthless he probably sleeps in a coffin. We have a devoted husband, a girl boss wife who let a little bit of power rot her brain, a mother-in-law who deserves a medal and a WWE championship belt, and a twist at the end that is so dark, so twisted, it actually made me gasp out loud. So get comfortable, make sure your subscription is turned on so you don't miss the tea, and let me tell you about the man who went from stay-at-home dad to king of petty. Let's start right in the heat of the moment because the way this man found out, it's every spouse's nightmare. It was a Saturday, just a regular, dusty, sunny Saturday at the ballpark. Our hero, let's call him Mark, is sitting on the bleachers. He's the classic devoted dad. Cooler full of orange slices, sunscreen on deck, cheering for his daughter's softball team. His wife, let's call her Elena, is there too. But she's not really there, if you know what I mean. She's physically present, but her soul is somewhere else, probably hovering over her iPhone screen. Now, Elena had been glued to that phone all day, tapping away, smiling at the screen in that way that makes your stomach do a little flip because you know she isn't smiling at a spreadsheet. But Mark, bless his trusting heart, didn't want to start a fight in public. During the third inning, he realizes he left his phone in the car. He wants to record his daughter's at-bat to send to his parents who live out of state. So, innocent as a lamb, he turns to Elena and asks, "Hey, can I borrow your phone for a second to record this? I forgot mine." Elena, surprisingly, hands it over. She stands up, brushes the dust off her designer jeans, and says, "I'm going to the concession stand to get a Diet Coke. Don't mess with anything." She walks away. Mark holds up the phone to record the game. And that's when it happens. You know that little banner notification that drops down from the top of the screen? The one that can ruin a life in 3 seconds flat? Ding. A message pops up. It's not from a client. It's not from her boss. It's from a guy named Toby, right? Some 20-something junior associate at her company. And the preview message, it wasn't, "Did you finish the report?" Oh no, it said, "God, I can still taste you from last night. When can we do round 2? Mark freezes. The sounds of the bat cracking, the parents cheering, the umpire yelling, it all just goes silent. His heart drops into his shoes. Against his better judgment, he taps the notification. And honey, he fell down the rabbit hole. He scrolls and he scrolls and he reads things that no husband should ever have to read. They were sending videos, pictures, nasty, explicit details about their hookups in the office, in her car, in hotels. But the knife in the heart? It wasn't just the sex. It was the way they talked about Mark. Toby wrote, "I don't know how you stay with him. He's such a wimp. A real man provides. He doesn't sit at home folding laundry." And Elena, his wife of 13 years, the mother of his children, replied, "I know, baby, he's pathetic. He's basically just a glorified babysitter, but don't worry, I'm only there for the kids until I figure this out. You're the only real man in my life." Can you imagine reading that while you are literally sitting at your child's game, supporting her family? Mark said he felt like he was going to vomit. He heard Elena's footsteps crunching on the gravel coming back, so he quickly swiped the app closed, opened the camera, and pretended to record. But inside, the man was dead. The husband was gone. And something cold and calculated was taking his place. Let me back up and tell you how we got to this disaster, because the context makes it so much worse. Mark and Elena met in college. They were the power couple, married at 25, both making great money. Mark was actually the breadwinner for a long time. He was climbing the corporate ladder, making 3 times what Elena made working for her dad's small logistics company. But then tragedy struck. Elena's dad passed away unexpectedly. It was a crisis. The family business was on the brink of collapse. Her mom, bless her heart, had no idea how to run a company. So Elena stepped up. She told Mark, "I need to do this. I need to save my dad's legacy." And she did. She turned into a boss. The company took off, and suddenly she was bringing in the big bucks. But with the success came the schedule. She was never home. The kids, 2 beautiful little girls, were suffering. They missed their parents. So Mark and Elena sat down and made a choice that Mark thought was for the team. Elena told him, "My company needs me, or it goes under. Your company is huge. They'll replace you in a week. Why don't you stay home? Take care of the girls, I'll handle the money. Mark agreed. He quit his high-paying career to be a stay-at-home dad. And he didn't just phone it in, he did everything. Cooking, cleaning, repairs, errands, homework. He pampered Elena when she got home. He rubbed her feet, poured her wine, made sure she didn't have to lift a finger. And for a while, it was good. But about a year ago, the shift happened. Elena started coming home late. She stopped saying thank you. She started making little digs. What did you even do today? Or, must be nice to nap while I'm out here actually working. Excuse me? Raising 2 kids and running a household is not a nap, honey. It's a marathon. But she became mean, cold. The intimacy stopped completely. Every time Mark tried to initiate, she was too tired, stressed, or just straight up disgusted. He thought it was the stress of the business. He tried harder. He cooked fancier meals. He planned date nights she didn't show up for. And all that time, she was getting her ego stroked by Toby, the boy toy at the office, laughing at her husband for washing her underwear. If you are already shaking with rage, hit that like button right now, because I haven't even gotten to the part where the mother-in-law goes absolute feral mode. You do not want to miss that. So back to the car ride home from the softball game. Mark is driving. He's silent. He's gripping the steering wheel so hard his knuckles are white. Elena is in the passenger seat scrolling on her phone, probably texting Toby about how boring Mark is. When they get home, Mark is focused on one thing: don't explode in front of the girls. He gets them fed, bathed, and into bed. Elena tries to make small talk, sensing something is off, but Mark just gives one-word answers. Finally, they get into bed, and Elena, maybe feeling a tiny twinge of guilt or maybe just wanting to keep up appearances, tries to touch him. She reaches over. Mark recoils like he touched a hot stove. He says, "I'm not in the mood." Elena huffs, rolls her eyes, and snaps, "Fine, if you're going to be a moody little child about everything, you can sleep on the couch. I don't have time for this." She kicked him out of the bed. The audacity. But Mark didn't argue. He got up, grabbed a pillow, and went to the guest room. He didn't sleep a wink. He lay there staring at the ceiling, plotting. He realized his marriage was over. The woman he loved was dead, replaced by this monster. The next morning, Mark waited until Elena left for work. Then he went into burn-it-down mode. He didn't cry. He got practical. He called a top-tier divorce law firm in the next town over. He didn't want anyone local tipping her off. He walks into this lawyer's office. Let's call the lawyer the Shark. Mark lays it all out. He shows the screenshots he managed to forward to himself. He explains the financial situation. The Shark looks at the evidence, looks at Mark, and basically smiles. He says, "Listen to me closely. You are the golden goose of clients. You sacrificed your career for her career. You are the primary caregiver. She had an affair, and worse, she exposed your children to risk by bringing this man around." Wait, what? Yes. In the text, there was mention of Toby coming by the house when Mark was out with the girls. That's a huge no-no. The Shark continues, "We are going to take her to the cleaners. You're getting the house. You're getting alimony. You're getting child support. We are going to ask for funding for you to go back to school since you've been out of the workforce. And custody, we're going for primary. She'll be lucky to get weekends." But then the Shark gave Mark the hardest instruction of all. He said, "You need to be an actor. Do not confront her. Do not scream. Do not tell her you know. Act normal. We need to blindside her with the papers to prevent her from hiding assets. Go home, cook dinner, and shut the hell up." Mark went home. He cooked pasta. He asked Elena how her day was. He watched her lie to his face. It was torture. She was texting Toby at the dinner table, smiling at her phone while her daughters told her about their day. Mark said it took every ounce of strength not to throw the spaghetti bowl at her head. A few days later, the bomb dropped. Elena was at work, sitting in her big fancy CEO chair, probably feeling on top of the world. A process server walked in past her secretary and slapped a stack of papers on her desk. "You've been served." At the same time, Mark's lawyer filed an emergency motion to have her removed from the home. Because the affair happened in the home and the environment was now hostile, and since Mark was the primary caregiver, the judge granted temporary exclusive possession of the residence to Mark. Mark gets a call from Elena. She is screaming, "What is this? Are you insane? You're trying to divorce me? I'm coming home right now to fix this." Mark, calm as a cucumber, says, "Do not come here. The locks have been changed. Your mom knows everything. You can go stay with her. If you step foot on this property, I will call the police." Click. Oh, did I mention the mother-in-law? Mark had called Elena's mom, let's call her Judy, right before the papers were served. He sat Judy down and showed her everything, the texts, the insults, the betrayal. Judy broke down. She was devastated. She looked at Mark and said, I am so sorry. I raised her better than this. I didn't raise a cheater. She promised Mark that she would not let Elena spin the narrative. She told Mark, you are my son. Those are my granddaughters. She made this mess. She can live in it. So Elena had to do the walk of shame to her mommy's house. Now, let's talk about the fallout because Elena did not go quietly. She started blowing up Mark's phone, alternating between I love you, let's work this out, and you're a parasite, you'll never survive without my money. Mark's lawyer, the shark, told him, Gray Rock method, one word answers, only discuss logistics about the kids using a parenting app, everything else is silence. And then came the medical stuff. The shark advised Mark to get a full STD panel and a paternity test for the girls. Mark was insulted at first. Those are my daughters, the lawyer said. I know, but cheaters lie. And if she's been doing this for a year, who knows what else she's done? We need to know for custody and support. Mark did it, and the waiting period was agonizing. He looked at his little girls, looking for his nose, his eyes, praying that his entire life wasn't a lie. 2 weeks later, update time. Mark posts that the results are in. Thank God he is the biological father of both girls, and he is clean of any diseases. The relief was overwhelming. He cried in the kitchen floor. He wasn't crying for the marriage anymore. He was crying because he got to keep his title of dad without any asterisks. But the girls, they were struggling. They didn't understand why mommy wasn't home. Elena, being the narcissist she is, tried to manipulate them over the phone. Daddy won't let mommy come home. Daddy is being mean. Mark had to put a stop to that immediately. He got the girls into therapy. He didn't want to badmouth their mother, but he couldn't let them think he was the villain. Fast forward a few months, it's Thanksgiving. This is where things get incredibly spicy. Judy, the saint of a mother-in-law, begs Mark to come over for dinner. She says, please, just for the girls, one normal holiday, I'll make sure Elena behaves. Mark agrees, strictly for his daughters. He talks to his lawyer, who says, fine, but document everything. If she tries to seduce you or fight you, you leave. Mark shows up. It's awkward with a capital A. Elena is there, dressed to the nines, trying to play happy family. She tries to hug Mark. He dodges her like Neo in The Matrix and goes straight to hug Judy. Dinner is excruciating. Elena keeps bringing up old memories. Remember that Christmas in Aspen? We should go again this year. Mark just says, pass the potatoes. During the prayer, and Mark is an atheist, but he holds hands out of respect for Judy, Elena tries to interlace her fingers with his. He pulls his hand away so fast, he almost knocks over the gravy. She looks wounded. He looks disgusted. After dinner, the girls want to watch a movie. Mark sits in a separate armchair. Elena tries to squeeze onto the couch near him. He gets up and goes to the kitchen to help Judy clean. Finally, it's time to leave. Mark is carrying his sleeping daughters to the car. Elena follows him out to the driveway. The tears start flowing. The waterworks. She grabs his arm. Mark, please, I made a mistake. I love you. We can fix this. I'll fire Toby. Just come back to me. She's wailing. It's a scene. And then the door opens. Judy steps out. Judy doesn't yell. She doesn't scream. She walks up to her grown adult daughter, grabs her by the hair. Yes, physically yanks her ponytail and hisses, get inside right now. You have humiliated this family enough. Leave him alone. Elena looked shocked. Mark just buckled the kids in and drove away. He said seeing his MIL drag his cheating wife back into the house was the most satisfying moment of his life. Make sure you're subscribed because the update I'm about to drop involving the affair partner's wife is going to make your jaw hit the floor. So, the divorce is moving forward, but the kids are having a hard time. The therapist calls Mark in for a session. She says, Mark, the girls are confused. They think you kicked mommy out for no reason. They think you're the bad guy. We need to tell them the truth. Age appropriate, but the truth. Mark didn't want to. He wanted to protect them, but the therapist insisted. So, they sat the girls down, ages 8 and 10, and explained. Mommy broke a promise she made to Daddy. She was with another man in a way that married people are only supposed to be with each other. The reaction was heartbreaking. The girls didn't get mad at Mark. They got furious at Elena. The oldest looked at Mark and said, so she chose him over us? Oof, from the mouths of babes. They went from missing mommy to refusing to see her. They told Mark, "We don't want to go to grandma's if she's there." Elena, of course, blamed Mark for poisoning them against her, but Mark knew he had just told them the truth. Now, for the final nuclear bomb, the loose end, Toby. People in the comments kept asking Mark, "Does the other guy have a wife? You need to check." Mark hadn't really thought about it. He was so focused on his own disaster. But he did some digging. He found an old company directory from Elena's home office. He found Toby's emergency contact, a woman named Sarah. Mark calls the number. A woman answers. He says, "Hi, my name is Mark. I think our spouses are sleeping together." Silence. Then Sarah hangs up. Mark thinks, okay, she doesn't believe me. 10 minutes later, she calls back. She's crying. She asks to meet. They meet in a parking lot. Mark gets into her car. He shows her the evidence, the texts, the pictures. Sarah looks at the photos and she starts shaking. Not just crying, shaking. She looks at Mark and says, "You don't understand. I just finished chemotherapy." Mark felt like he'd been punched in the gut. Sarah explains, "I was diagnosed with cancer almost 2 years ago, right after I got pregnant. I had to have the baby early, then surgeries, then chemo. I lost my hair. I gained weight from the steroids. I've been fighting for my life." She continues, sobbing, "I haven't been able to be intimate with Toby in 2 years because I've been so sick. I felt so guilty. I told him he was a saint for staying with me. I told everyone what a great husband he was for taking care of me while I was dying." And the whole time, while she was vomiting from chemo, while she was bald and scared, Toby was at the office hooking up with Elena and sending texts calling Mark a wimp. Toby had told Elena that his wife was cold and lazy. He didn't mention the cancer. He didn't mention the baby. He was just a sociopath. Sarah was broken. She told Mark, "I was finally getting better. My hair is growing back. I was planning a romantic weekend to thank him for standing by me, and now this." In a moment of pure desperation and pain, Sarah actually tried to come on to Mark. She wanted revenge. She wanted to feel desirable again. She leaned in. Mark, being the absolute gentleman he is, gently stopped her. He said, "Sarah, no, you're hurt. You're not thinking clearly. He's trash, but don't lower yourself. You beat cancer. You can beat him too." He gave her the name of his lawyer, the Shark. So here we are at the end. Elena is living in her mom's spare bedroom, banned from her own house, hated by her children, and facing a divorce that will leave her broke. Toby is about to be served divorce papers by a woman who just survived cancer and has zero mercy left in her body. And Mark? Mark is sitting on his couch in a quiet house, holding his daughters close. He's scarred, he's hurt, but he's free. So here is my question for you guys in the comments. If you were Mark, would you have told the cancer survivor wife? Or would you have spared her the pain while she was recovering? Let me know, because honestly, I think he did her a favor. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay toxic-free, my loves. Catch you in the next one.